Hello, Namaskar. This is Firstpost and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. The Gaza war is finally over. For the first time in 2 years, there is peace. The ceasefire is holding. There are cheers and tears, also questions about what comes next. Will Hamas lay down arms? Will Netanyahu refrain from another attack? Who will rebuild Gaza and how? Tonight, we break down the deal, the stakes and the road ahead. We'll also look at the politics of the peace summit in Egypt. 20 world leaders, 33 handshakes, lots of viral moments, and why the Indian Prime Minister gave it a miss. Also on the show, how the trade war between the US and China is intensifying, why the LG IPO is being called a blockbuster, why the Pentagon wants to gag the media, what led to the coup in Madagascar, and why there was a French military helicopter in the picture. Why silver has touched record highs, especially in India, and can one route, one fare make flying more accessible for every Indian? Plus, what's the Nobel-winning concept of creative destruction? All this and more coming up. First, as always, the headlines. The French Prime Minister says the controversial pension reform will be suspended until the 2027 presidential election. The reform called for raising the retirement age from 62 to 64. The Prime Minister already faces two no-confidence motions that are likely to be voted on in Parliament on Thursday. Thousands of protesters flood the streets of Belgium's capital, Brussels. They're angry over the government austerity plans. The protests are part of a national strike which has grounded flights and disrupted public transport. Belgium is grappling with a massive budget deficit that violates the rules of the European Union. The International Monetary Fund raises India's growth forecast for 2025-26 to 6.6%, but it has cut the projection to 6.2% for 2026-27. This comes days after the World Bank announced a similar cut. The IMF also predicts that global growth would edge upwards to 3.2% this year. The outlook for next year remains unchanged at 3.1%. Gunmen in northwest Pakistan kill a police officer guarding polio vaccinators. The attack comes amid a nationwide campaign to counter rising cases. Other than Afghanistan, Pakistan is the only country where polio remains an endemic. But in the last decade, militants have killed hundreds of police officers and health workers. Cameroon's opposition candidate claims victory against incumbent President Paul Biya, but the official results for the weekend vote are not expected for 2 weeks. President Biya has been in power for 43 years. The 92-year-old is the world's oldest serving head of state.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all three just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.